Greeting to all the students. Welcome to Global Online University, and here we are back with our next unit for the preparation of Gujarat Set examination paper 1. In this video, we are going to talk in detail about research aptitude theory, a very important unit. Many of the students are a little bit scared for this unit, but in this particular video, we are going to see all the detailed topics of research aptitude in detail, covering the whole syllabus, which will make you easier to crack your Gujarat Set examination for paper 1. We at Global Online University has brought a Gujarat set preparation, a full unit for you in the form of certain features. Now it consists for paper 1 specially, which will be consisting of 50 full syllabus mock test. Now these mock tests, what will be the speciality of this mock test? This mock test will be not only in the form of questions, but we will also provide you a PDF solution with answer. So in case if you're not able to sort out solve some questions, you will have an answers for that in order to check your preparation rate. Plus, we also have 2,500 plus MCQs covering all the syllabus and all the units, which will again give you a good hands-on practice for your paper 1 preparation. Apart from this, we have 100 plus video lectures for consisting of all the units. Every concept which has been very properly touched in this video lectures. And we also have notes on all the units. So like what exact preparation material which you are looking for, it will be consisting of in one full in one full go. You will be getting not only the video lectures, not only the notes, but also the MCQs, and then the full syllabus mock test. So it goes step by step, which will help you to prepare your paper 1 very well. Now, for all this, the offer price which is set is 999. And if you want to get more information, you can please get in touch with the given WhatsApp number, which is reflecting on the screen. Apart from this, paper 2 notes are also available with us. So you can get in touch with the WhatsApp number in order to understand which paper 2 you have, and you can check out the notes with the concern given WhatsApp number. Plus, we also have the Google Global Online University app, which is available on Google Play Store. What you can do is you can download this app. You can attempt for free tests, which are set for the students. There are certain free previous year question papers just to give you an idea about the features, notes, as well as videos. So you can download the app and you can check it out. And in case if you have still any difficulty or if you still have any queries, you can get in touch with the given WhatsApp number so that we can further assist you or clarify your doubts. Having total questions is 5 and the total marks will be 10. So each question will be carrying of 2 marks. Quickly, let us see the syllabus. So syllabus is about research. What do you mean by research? Definitely there is one question on research where they give you in the form of characteristics or objectives, and you have to find out what the research is. What are the various types of research? There is one question on that. Characteristics are merged with the meaning for the question. Positivism and post positivist approach, this is a new syllabus included topic, so that there is surely one question out of this. On methods of research, that is experimental, descriptive, historical, qualitative, quantitative. So these questions are seen with the help of examples. They give you few examples, and with the help of that examples, they give you the questions, and you have to recognize the right method. Coming next to the steps of research. Now in steps of research, it is always seen that the question comes in the form of arranging or sequencing the steps. So they will just give you in an unorganized form the steps. You have to sequence them in a one proper form. Thesis and article writing, wherein you have to recognize the style or format or set it in the right form. Application of ICT in research, a question comes, and one definite short question comes on research ethics. So what are the do's and don'ts of research ethics? So this is basically the syllabus. Now let's quickly understand the syllabus in detail also, and let's have a look. Now, coming to first thing is what exactly is research? So research is nothing but a logical and systematic search for new and useful information. The important words I have highlighted it. So it is an investigation to find out a solution which has to be scientific, and it should be able to relate with the social problems. Very, very important point. They always stress the questions in such a way, This topics are given, but sometimes you get confused. So you have to be very clear with that. The information might be collected from different sources, like the experiences, the human beings, the books, the journals, the nature, etc. And it leads to new contribution, including the existing knowledge. So if we summarize, research is nothing but a careful and detailed study into a specific problem, concern, or an issue using the scientific method. So issue is nothing but either you call it as a concern or a problem, which has to be detailedly studied, and which has to which has to focus on some issues or a problem or concern. Characteristics of research. So research is something which should be planned in advance, because it has to be systematic and organizing. So it has to be pre-planned. It has to be systematic. It means needs to show some system, some structure. It should be based on the real-time data that is called as an empirical data. It should have an objective. It should be accurate. There is no ifs and buts. That it has to be an in-depth analysis or study. It has to be logical. It has to be reliable. It has to be valid. It is to be controlled. It is to be verifiable. It is to be relevant and generalized and ethical. So when we are talking about reliability, validity, so this all gives importance to the research and makes research more means valid. So these are all the examples of characteristics of research. And this also comes in the form of questions, but again, these questions are asked in a different form, so you have to be careful with that. Okay. Objectives of research. So there is again one question based on this objectives is to discover new facts. They may give you 4-5 objectives, and you have to pick up the right one. There may be a odd man out also, so you have to pick up. So you have to understand what are the correct objectives of research: to discover new facts, to verify and test the important facts, to analyze the to analyze the process of phenomena in the form of cause and effect relationship, that is experimental research like, to develop scientific tools, concepts, and theories with the either from the existing ones, or along with the existing ones. From the existing ones you can come up to something new theory in the form of your deductive and inductive methods, to solve and understand scientific and non-scientific problems, to find out the solutions scientifically in the form of scientific, non-scientific, as well as social problems, to overcome and solve the problems occurring in our day-to-day life. Okay, so this was basically the concept with respect to the objectives of research. Here also you definitely get a question where they give you some points of objective, and that one odd man out is added. You have to recognize the correct objectives. Coming to some theoretical, factual, or applied objectives. Theoretical are the one which formulates new theories uh, in the form of what? In the form of association between various variables, or in the form of fundamental research. Factual objectives in the form of new facts which are used in history and explain in exploratory research, that is facts, which gives you the facts. Applied are in the form of which are already existing theories to the new situations, which are in the form of applied research. Now, literature review is a new topic. It is a new concept now. So basically, what comes out of literature review, how it is helpful? It helps to bring ease in the research. It helps to gain knowledge to the researcher about the research problems. It gives clarity. It focuses the research problem. It improves authenticity, and it improves research methodology. So basically, this goes with research literature review. So how is literature review used in research can be a part of it. Then yes, comes your various types of research. So we will see one by one. At the same time, we'll keep on seeing the differentiation also. Talking about qualitative and quantitative research. So qualitative is the one which is the objective is to explore the phenomena, whereas quantitative is to confirm the tentative statement which has been framed by us, that is in the form of hypothesis. When we talk about qualitative research, it is in-depth, it is in the form of in-depth interviews, focus groups, participant observation, that is semi-structured method, whereas quantitative is highly structured in the form of questionnaires, survey, structured observation. So this also can be a part of your uh, examples, and you have to identify which are qualitative, which are quantitative. Uh, Qualitative questions, qualitative methods are open-ended. So when I say open-ended, it means that it is in the form of descriptive. The question will be given. You're supposed to describe it in your own perception or in your own way. But in close-ended, you do not have such option. It is very restricted. Either it is yes or no, whether you agree or not. You either you can go for yes or no. So there is no description allowed over here. Qualitative describes what its variations. They explain the relationship. As I said, it is much more, in the form of a description. Whereas quantitative, it quantifies variations and causal relationship. So qualitative is subject to what is learned, and it is quantitative is subject to statistical assumptions. So here it is based, outcome is based on learning, and here it is with respect to statistical assumptions. Now, when we go a little bit further, there are more important points which I've added. It involves quality, whereas quantitative involves quantity. It is used for analysis, that is understanding the problem. It is used to quantify the problem attitude or a behavior. As I said, we have already studied this is an open-ended and this is a closed-ended. That is in the form of inductive, specific to general. Close-ended, it means deductive, that is general to specific. Okay. If I give you an example, that study conducted to know why people suffer from mental disorders, how these affect the personal life of a person. See the word how, describe how it affects. Okay. Whereas here, it is the same example, but how much it affects, it will be a part of what your quantitative research. Qualitative is, as I said, it is semi-structured or unstructured, whereas quantitative is very, very or highly structured. Now, when we talk about fundamental research, it is used for generalizing or to make additions to the existing knowledge. Applied is in the form of specific or social business issue. Fundamental research is conducted by formulating theories and has a greater scope of application, whereas applied research is conducted to find out a particular problem, to analyze a particular issue. So that is applied and fundamental. Coming to structured research, which is highly structured in the form of objective design sample, which is pre-decided, and structure, it talks about flexibility, which is definitely which is not pre-decided. Structured research is, it is used in quantitative research to know the extent of the problem, and unstructured is it is the form of qualitative research to know the nature of the problem. Now, conceptual research and empirical research. So let's have a look at conceptual and empirical research. So conceptual research is basically based on establishing a concept or a theory based on observations or intellectual and non-experiments. So it's based on concept. So conceptual is one which is based on concepts. Empirical it's one which is based on experiments. So it is, as this is the revision part. So now you just have to cover, or you just have to scan your minds with important words which can give you a hint. Okay, what was been learned in conceptual, which is established based on concepts. Empirical, which was based on experiments. Whereas in conceptual, it is, as we said, that it is theoretical approach, developing new theories or redefining the existing ones. Empirical, it talks about practical and experimental. So just keep your, the theories in mind. Sorry, this structured and unstructured part was repeated. So I'll just eliminate it and I'll move ahead. Descriptive and analytical research. Analytical, it means in-depth analysis, detailed study. So when we talk about descriptive, it is undertaken to simply explain what occurred or what is occurring in order to describe a problem situation, whereas it is why it has occurred, it is in the form of analysis. Descriptive research is description, classification, comparison, whereas analytical is in the form of cause and effect relationship. Descriptive example is, analyzing the trend of prices of pulses in the form of description. Whereas when you go for analytical, it is basically the example analyzing the reasons behind the change in the price of pulses. So let's see. I mean to say, if you want to analyze that, how if you want to see that, how the prices in the pulses has changed, you have to study. Now it is higher, okay, it is lower, it's constant, it is, it is changing very frequently. So in such case, you have to analyze it. Okay. Now, there is one topic called as explanatory and exploratory. So students have difficulty in this also. So let's touch that factor also quickly. So explanatory research is a one type of research which attempts to explain. See, explanatory. So it is more of explanation, whereas exploratory is basically to explore, to find out, to investigate. When we talk about explanatory research, it links the ideas, okay, in the form of cost and effect relationship. In exploratory, uh, it explores the research but does not offer any conclusion. It just explores. There is no definite conclusion in it. Explanatory research is usually conducted after exploratory and descriptive. It is conducted as in a preliminary stage, at a pre stage, you can call it as. So quick, I have also, written some important quick understanding points in case if you have still not understood. So experimental research is basically which talks about cause and effect relationship, other factors, the variables by manipulating them or keeping them constant. The experiment is important. Applied, it is basically to solve, which is important to solve the specific problems, to answer the questions, to come to a conclusion, to to do a research, to do a evaluation. Basic research is to expand the existing knowledge, okay, in the form of scientific knowledge, to make the generalization. It means the statements, or to form a new theory. It's basically, it is a form of universal behavior. Now, experiment, as I said, so here we have studied about cause and effect, but effect is observed as an experiment, in an experiment due to cause. Here examples of change packaging on the sales of regular biscuit brand. So if you want to experiment this, you need to find out the effect of the packaging, which has, either whether it has, has resulted in the effect of sales. Now, there is a concept called as ex post facto, so which explains how independent variable affects dependent variable, which is also called as a quasi experiment when the situation has already occurred. So basically, it deals with already the situation of already occurrence. So how adult education influence the confidence in adults, which has already occurred. The adult education has already happened, but how it influences. So that is a part of what? That is a part of your ex post facto research. Ethnographic research, here students are a little bit confused. It talks about what? It basically talks about culture, society, or a group in depth with observation method. The participant observation enables to share the experience of the subject. So ethnographic research basically deals with society and culture or a group in depth. Okay. So this was about the types of research. Now let's come to positive and post-positivism. So when I say about positivism, is one which relies completely on scientific evidence such as experiments, statistics, revealing a true nature of the society. So it is basically, it is to uncover the laws of human that governs the human behavior, but in a scientific method. So it refers to the quantitative methods, statistics, survey, questionnaire. So we just now we did what includes in quantitative method. Require research to be reliable and representative as well as valid. Let's see quickly the difference between positivism and post-positivism. So they believe in reality that is scientific. They are also called as quantitative, whereas they believe in the creation of new knowledge and they support the committed movement. They believe in objective reality through applying the methods and principles. They create theories, hypotheses, and the value of the researcher is done over here. Positivism denies the intuition. They do not go with any intuition and they are concerned with only objectivity. Whereas the post-positivism is concerned with the subjectivity. So positivism basically includes scientific study, and post-positivism based, you can call it also qualitative in the form of description or experience. Then let's understand what are this induction and deductive method of reasoning. So when I talk about inductive method, it is a method which is bottom up. It means it starts with an observation that is from a specific to general. Many students still have a confusion. They just do a rote learning. Please do not do it. Induction. In it means you keep on adding. You keep on adding. Okay. So it is bottom to up. So you add. So it goes on, scaling up. So it is bottom up. Okay. So you have an specific, you go from one to many, that is general. So one, it is cumulative. You keep on adding, so it becomes cumulative. So in the form of observation, pattern, hypothesis, and then you come to a theory. When I say deductive, it is from top to bottom, deduct. So you deduct it. So you go in the form of many. Okay, you go on subtracting and you come to one specific individual. So that is specific, a particular. So it comes with a theory, hypothesis, observation, and confirmation.
This came back from a search.
Confirmation. So now here what happens is that, here it is basically, in this case, when you talk about inductive and deductive, what exactly happens is you have options in the form of, either putting them in, aligning them in a proper way, or it goes from general to particular or particular to general, or it is also called as bottom up or top down approach. So these are all possible questions which can come, that I have added in the slide. So when you're reading it or when you're listening to the video, you have to ensure that all your senses of, to say, your eyes and your ears are very active and there is no distraction at all. Then comes just a quick revision slide, that is induction. Inductive approach goes from observation to generalization to theory. Deductive goes from experiment to predictions to the theory. Okay. Next comes is the step of research. So you start with a topic, you define a research problem, you review the literature, you develop the objective, you identify the variables, and formulate the hypothesis, prepare a research design, that is a framework, conceptual framework. You carry out a sampling, you collect the data, you perform the analysis and hypothesis testing. You make the generalized statement along with interpretation, and you write a research report. So when you say this, when you follow this, you say that you have done a research process. In other way around, it is like formulating a research problem, doing a survey, literature survey, formulating hypothesis, preparing research design, collection of data, analyzing the data, and interpreting the data, as well as reporting. So many times, as I said, research steps till date have been seen in, arranging it in the sequence. So you have to just be careful with the sequence. You have to see that how the sequence is given. Reporting, that it always come at the end. Hypothesis is formulated only after, defining a problem. Collection of data starts only after the formulation of hypothesis. So you should be able to aware of this. Interpretation or analyzing of data starts only after the collection of data. So these are some important points which I have to keep in mind very clearly. Next, hypothesis, very important question comes on alternate and null hypothesis. So HO is basically represented as your null hypothesis. H1 or HA is your alternate hypothesis. So what is your null hypothesis? It's nothing but which shows a negative relationship between the variables. Okay, that is negative relation or negative statement. Or whereas your alternate hypothesis is something which shows a positive relationship. Okay, so you have to, now you do not know what type of relationship it can be proved, so you're making a tentative statement that there is an impact of technology on the distraction of the human mind. Or if there is an impact, it means it is a positive. So that is, you have proved what you are framing an alternative hypothesis. But if you see there is no impact of technology on human mind, you're framing what? You're framing a negative statement, that is called as your null hypothesis. Okay, so many times what is rejected, what is accepted, one is rejected, other is accepted. So this type of question comes. So you have to be very careful. So how your hypothesis should be clear, should precise, should be focused. It should formulate the theory. It is basically facilitates formulation of a theory. It gives direction. It gives objectivity. It prevents any type of blind research, means where you're not aware what you're doing. Provides generalization, that is in the form of statements only after verification. So hypothesis should be simply expressed, specific, and should be clear, should be a verbal statement, should be future oriented, should be objective, enhance the objective, should be operationalized. In other words, it should be workable, and definitely you should be able to draw conclusion out of it. Okay. Now comes, yes, there is one concept in 2019 paper, this concept of type 1 and type 2 error has been seen. So type 1 error occurs when you reject your null hypothesis. You're not supposed to reject, but you have rejected. So means you have done an error. So type 2 error occurs when the investigator fails to reject a null hypothesis and he accepts the that is, he's unable to reject. I mean to say, he was supposed to reject it, but he didn't do, and he's unable to reject the hypothesis. So it means it is type 2 error you have done, where you are supposed to reject it, but you have accepted it. So it is type 2 error. So type 1 error is rejecting your hypothesis, and type 2 error is unable to reject your null hypothesis. That's how it is framed. Okay, in little bit more detail I have given over here. So a null hypothesis is true, okay, but you have rejected it, okay. That is false positive. Like for example, test detected to find out a cancer is positive, but the person does not have cancer. So it is false, but it is positive. Okay. Now it is false negative. Test detected to find out cancer is negative, but the person is affected by cancer. So it is false, and the test is, it is negative. Okay. When it is true positive, it was predicted that they have disease, and yes, they have it. So it is true and it is positive. True negative, we predicted for no or no for diseases, and they do not have diseases. So it is yes, they predicted and they do not have. That is true negative. So you have to be very careful. There were type 1 or type 2 errors, correct outcome. So you should know type 1 error is rejecting your null hypothesis. Type 2 error is, not rejecting your null hypothesis. And correct outcomes is true positive. Okay. And here the correct outcome is the true negative. I hope this is very clear. Then the next concept you have is variable independent and dependent variable. So when we talk about experimental or treatment variable, it is called as independent. But at the same time, when we talk about outcome variable, it is called as dependent. Independent variable is the one which can be manipulated. Here it is measured. Independent variable can cause a change in the other variables. They can change as a result of change made on the independent. So this is a cause. So as I said, this is a cause. Independent variable is a cause. Dependent variable becomes an effect. Independent variable is manipulated. Dependent variable is measured. Liquid used to water the plant. So, the growth of the plant. So here the effect, the cause is the liquid, and the effect will be in the form of growth. So this is how your independent and dependent variable. There are question scenes on this also. With the help of examples, they give you the questions. Okay. Apart from this, there are some other variables also, like intervening variable. It is called as a link variable, mediator. Like for example, if you're talking about bottle feeding, and if it is the child is getting affected, so feeding is, independent variable, but if something goes wrong over here, the effect will be on the health of the child. Okay, that is a dependent variable. So mother's education with respect to, the hygiene part plays a role of what? The mediator, that is in the form of intervening variable. Now, when I talk extraneous variable is the influenced variable, like the age of the child, the immunity level of the child. If I talk about confounding variable, it confuses the relationship. The person may or may not be consuming alcohol, and he may not be consuming, and he has got a lung cancer. What is the confusion? The confusion is like, how can he get cancer if he does not consume alcohol? So it is something which confuses you, that is called as confounding variable. So now you also have in detail also I've written. So intervening variable is like a mediator, which explains the cause or a connection between dependent and independent, and they're associated with observation. They're an association instead of the observations. Okay. Confounding, as I said, they confuse the relationship. And extraneous, as I said, that it comes as, the researcher did not originally consider them while designing the research. The unwanted variables can unintentionally change the result. As I said, like for example, another example, if you take a study assessing whether private tutoring or online tutoring courses are more effective. So here the unintentional influence, the outcome may include in the form of, the parental support or the prior knowledge or, in the socio-economic status. Now, yes, so next one, what we have is the population and the sample. That is, you have few questions based on this. So let's see what is population and samples. So population, out of population itself, you draw your samples. Okay, now the population is measured in parameter. Samples are measured in statistics. When you have a sampling frame is a device or a material from which sample is drawn. So sample is drawn from the sampling frame, and sample design is nothing but the roadmap of your methodology. So this is basically what certain questions are based on this topic. So you have to be very careful for this. Probability and non-probability sample designs, that is sampling types, that is probability and non-probability. So first is simple, random, simple. So every, that is a group or a members, okay, every member from this group has an equal chance of being selected. So there is, what are the chances? Every member has an equal chance, okay. Stratified, wherein the population is subdivided into various subgroups, stratas. That is called a subgroup in the form of gender, age, characteristics, income, job role, maybe the height, weight, whatever strata you take. Systematic sampling, which goes in, listed in the form of either even number, odd number, or random, maybe so if you do it random, it will come simple random. Sorry, but here you do it very systematically. Okay. Cluster sample, so you have already had a group or a samples. In that, you are creating a subgroup and you're picking up the whole subgroup. Okay, whole group. So you call them as what? You call them as cluster. So here there are many times questions seen on this since the old syllabus and new syllabus also. There is a question on sampling. You have to recognize which are the probability and which are the non-probability types of sampling methods. So non-probability, when we come, convenience, that is as per the ease. Purposive, that is as it's also called as judgmental, which involves the expertise or which involves a certain purpose or aim. Voluntary, it is based on the researcher's choice, and snowball is the one which is in the form of networking. So there is, there are a lot of questions on snowball also seen, that is nothing but networking sampling. Then quota sampling, where you have a group, from that you take a quota, like for example, male above 50. So such type of, quota, if you find out, it's called as quota sampling. There is something called as dimensional sampling. It's an extension to quota. The researcher takes in account of several characteristics. The researcher also ensures that at least one person in the study presenting each chosen characteristic should be present. So quota sampling is basically a non-probability sampling method, and it creates a sample involving individual that represents a population. Then you have multi-stage sampling. Now, multi-stage sampling is that which divides the sample into various stages, like for example, states, districts, village, household. So a combination of stratified sampling or cluster sampling and simple random is usually used in multi-stage sampling. Okay, so sampling question definitely will be there. You should be completely aware of this. Next is you have styles of referencing. So you have American Psychological Association, that is APS style, wherein author's name, year of publication, title, journal in italics form, title and full stop by full stop, volume by a comma, page number. Now see, this will require, you have to just pause the video and just you have to write it down in your notes, because this you are tend to forget many times. So when you go for an examination, a quick recall, so it's there, you won't have time to open the video, search the video links and all those things. So you have to ensure that you're doing it, you're writing and keeping it as a last minute revision in your book. Harvard style, where author name is followed by initials, the year of publication, article with a single quotation, which is again marked by full stop. The name of journal has to be in italics. Volume should be followed by a comma, issue number in the bracket, and page number. So this is how it goes in the form of Harvard style. MLA, that is Modern Language Association, where your author's name, the article, title of the article, name of the journal, volume number, year of publication, page number or medium of publication should be reflected. It is in the form of MLA style. Now, Chicago style, so it is like the name of the author, the article title, the title of journal in italics, volume, year of publication, or page number. So this is how it goes with respect to Chicago style. So you have to just remember, many times they have given you examples, and from that you have to follow the right one. But as I said, please keep it noted somewhere and revise it one day before the examination, or at least on the day of going for your examination. Then, many students have a doubt regarding reference and bibliography. So, references generally context only those sources that you have cited in your research work, which you have only cited. But suppose here in bibliography, all the sources which has helped you to generate the ideas, which has helped you to, whether you have cited or not, which has helped you to know about the topic. So everything which you have referred, you mention it is in the form of bibliography. The next one you have is certain effects. So halo effect, basically, halo effect is one where on one opinion you form the opinion of other group. Group members involved in research. Central tendency, where you do not want to, go you. I mean to say, where you do not want to either support. You just have to. You want to be standardized, central. So you don't go for an extreme. You maintain your central. You maintain a point. Categorical effect, it's based on the unit of observation, and evaluation, which is based on the purpose of providing information. Now, yes, and there was one question on this of the in the form of ICT, that is ERIC is nothing but Education Resource Information Center, which is an online library of education and research information. Medline is nothing but a general citations journal, which is citations and abstract for biomedical, which is used. ABI and Inform is which gives complete information to the researchers about the companies and business trends around the world. So you just have to keep this mind in the form of ICT. Then yes, there was certain, you don't have the specific topic, but a question wherein you include what is blind study, what is panel study, what is cohort study, and case study. So case study, which gives you a basic generalized aim which aims at generalized things. Cohort, it means a group. Panel, it means the specialist. And the blind study, where you're not aware about the treatment, where you're not aware about the subject. Like for example, in the form of placebo, you just play with the mindset of the people. So in such case, if you do that study, it's called as a blind study. Okay. Now, yes, there is one feminist research approach in research is called as feminist. So it is basically feminist is with related to political and sociological theories. But in research, it is with dual objectives: it's construction of new knowledge as well as creation of social equity. So feminist research, please keep in mind, it has dual objectives, two objectives. One is the construction of new knowledge, and another is creation of the social equity. Now, application of ICT in research is in the form of what? In the form of use of modern technology, learning, higher education, research, innovation, collecting data, assessing data, storing data, processing the data, interpreting the data, and communicating the research findings. So for all this, you require the application of ICT in research. So in that, let's take quickly few example. InflibNet, that is Information and Library Network, the headquarters at Gujarat, which was established in 1996. 1988, Yashpal Committee worked out, and 1991, InflibNet was initiated by UGC. Coming to eShot Sindhu, which is Consortium for Higher Education Electronic Resources. It provides access to the e-resources in the form of university, colleges, centrally funded technical institutions. They are merged with three initiatives, that is UGC, Infonet, that is Information Network, Digital Library Consortium, that is Infonet, Information Network, Digital Library Consortium, NLIS, that is National Library and Information Services, and INDEST, its form of Indian National Library, Digital Library in Engineering, Sciences and Technology, that is an AICT consortium. Consortium is nothing but a group of association. It was the initiative by MHRD, which is executed by InflibNet, that is Information Library Network. Now, Shot Shuddhi, it is one which is introduced by MHRD in the form of which provides the access to plagiarism software to all the universities or institutions in India. Plagiarism is, something which you're not allowed. It is unethical. You cannot copy the material as it is. It is called as plagiarized. And if you do, the software will detect that. So it is called as Shuddhi. So they will tell you the Shuddhi. It means they will throw out all which is copied, and they will keep only the Shuddha material. That is Shuddha, it means which is pure, which is written on your own. Enlist in the form of National Library and Information Services Infrastructure. It is an initiative again by MHRD, that is the National Mission on Education through Information and Communication Technology. It is subscribed to all the major e-journals and e-book across the world for the use of students, researcher, and faculty from the colleges. Next, you have open access initiatives or Imprint, that is in the form of Shodh Ganga, digital resource for Indian thesis, Shodh Gangotri, that is for the research progress details, Vidya Mitra, that is a portal for e-counter projects developed by the NMEICT, Vidwan, that is a database of scientists and other faculty members of leading institutes, and InCat is a form of free online catalog of books, thesis and serials of major universities. So government sponsoring of research, it is in the form of Indian Institute of Science, that is which attracts the talent pool, Indian Institute of Science, Education and Research, Indian Institute of Technology, central universities, which are the top national ranking universities as per the national ranking framework. Apart from that, you have Utthitaravishkar Yojna, which was announced on 6th of October 2015 with a view to promote innovation. So it focuses on what? It focuses on industry academic collaboration. The objective is to promote innovation and research, to spur innovative mindset, that is to enhance the mindset in the students as well as faculty, to bring coordination between academics and industry, to use or to strengthen the laboratories and other research facilities, to have an outcome-based research funding. So it is applicable how? The scheme is applicable to the projects which are proposed by Indian Institutes of Technology initially. They are collaborated with academics as well as industry, which is within and outside India. So you should be aware of this. Any topic from here can come, which is very factual. Next is again in the form of, that is Imprint, impacting research, innovation and technology. PAN, IIT and ISN joint collaboration, again to develop a blueprint for research. Okay, this is basically, it is identified, for the funding purpose, in order to measure the research outcomes, okay, with the help of, standard of living with respect to rural and urban areas. So it was launched in 2015 with a view to provide solution to the relevant engineering challenges by translating the technology, that is in the form of product and processes, in 10 selected technological domains. Now, which are these domains? That is healthcare, engineering, sustainable habitat, nanotechnology, water resources, river system, advanced material, information and communication technology, manufacturing, security, defense, and environmental science and climate change. So this is launched for this purpose. Okay. Coming to, references and bibliography we have done. So we will just skip this slide. It is repeated, I guess. Research design and process paradigm. So research design we had used in one of the earlier slides. It's nothing but a framework of methods, research methods and techniques which are used in order to complete the research process. And paradigm is a pattern maybe a method or a pattern, okay, which tells about what type of model you are going to follow in your research. So paradigm is basically that pattern or a system. Coming to one topic which is very common in research, the difference between conference, symposium, workshop, and seminar. So conference is the highest one. Similar is symposium, but it is lit at a lower scale. Workshop is an hands-on experience, and seminar is an instructional event where you have a small group with now the numbers, 5 to 10 or maybe extended to 12. But among this, which is the larger one, is conference, where you get hands-on experiences. Workshop, which is similar to conferences, your symposium. Okay, so this there are questions seen on this in recent last 2-3 years, so you should be able to track them properly. Coming to the last part of your research is, research scales of measurement. So basically there are four, this is again a very common question, four top scales: nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. So when I say nominal, it is also called as the categorical scale. Okay. So when we talk about categorical variables, it is divided into various categories. There is no numeric value like labels, names, okay, classification in the form of types, kinds, with no numerical value, or that is only names. Ordinal is in the name and order form, that is which provides the ranking, that is from first to last or best to worst. So just the ranking is given in the form of first, second, third, like highest, lowest. Okay. So it is just the name and the order is mentioned. Interval, it is name, order plus the proportionate. Okay. So it basically talks about, it talks about the intervals, it talks about the adjacent numbers. It means the name, the rank, and the interval. Like for example, the interval between 2 and 4, that gap is 2. Between 4 and 6, the gap is 2, which is consistent, which is same. Name, order, proportionate, and absolute value, that is come in the form of ratio. Now what is the meaning of this absolute value? Which permits the ratio, forming ratio statement. So here if I say minus, so minus has the value, or zero, like for example absolute value, it means zero has a meaning which does not exist in interval scale. Okay. So this is what we had learned. Now research ethics, I didn't put a theory because in research ethics basically do's and don'ts. So what is research ethics, like what you should avoid and what you should, plagiarism. In between I've completed the concepts, so specific separate slide I didn't prepare. So plagiarism is, you should not do that. Okay. You should not copy the material. You should come with something new, creative, innovative ideas rather than relying on some duplicating it, or copying someone's material, which is not correct. So research ethics, basically the question of research ethics is seen on the reporting part, so you have to be very ethical on that. Okay. So this was all about your research unit. Tomorrow we will be coming up with the next unit. 3 units I've already completed. One is with respect to teaching aptitude, next is communication, and today this research aptitude. I hope every day you are just ensuring that your revision does properly and you are very, very much alert. I know this is very high time for you people. So many months you have been revising, but this is not a time to give up right now. You have to, that's the reason we are preparing this revision video, so that in one video, you can quickly at least go through the concepts, wherein if you sit specific time, it may not happen. So this is just an assistance, so that with